Welcome, heretics, to an Aeon Bite short. American Gnosis, Gnosticism in Modern Times. Based on the work of Dr. Arthur Versluyse. Enjoy.
You ever get that feeling that the world you see every day just isn't the real world? That, behind the curtain of ordinary life, there's some hidden system, a whole different set of rules, maybe even a secret war being fought over what's real. Well, let's get into it, because that feeling, it has a name, and it's a very old story that has suddenly become incredibly important today. It all kind of starts with a pair of sunglasses. That line, of course, is from the classic 1988 film, They Live. It's about a construction worker, John Nada, who finds these sunglasses that let him see the world as it truly is. And what he sees is shocking. Billboards don't sell you things, they just give commands: obey, consume, marry, and reproduce. And the ruling class, well, they're revealed to be these grotesque, skull-faced aliens who've secretly taken over everything. Now, the film is this brilliant piece of sci-fi for sure, but what's so fascinating is how that central question has totally escaped the movie screen and walked right into our own reality. In an age where nobody seems to trust institutions anymore, people are genuinely asking, are the systems that run our lives, politics, the media, technology, are they actually designed to fool us? We even have a name for this idea of seeing through a delusion. We call it the red pill moment, but it's also described as an awakening. And that's not just a spiritual term anymore. People now talk about their political awakening as the exact moment they realized the entire global system was just projecting a false reality, and they could finally see right through it. Okay, but here's the really wild part. This whole framework, this feeling of living in a fake world, and that sudden experience of waking up from it, this is not new at all. It's actually an ancient intellectual and spiritual tradition called Gnosticism, and it basically provides a map and a whole vocabulary for navigating a world that feels, well, hostile and fake. And that brings us to a really crucial term for understanding all of this: political gnosis. So we're not talking about achieving spiritual enlightenment in a cave somewhere. No, this is the modern application of those old Gnostic ideas to our society. It's that shocking realization that the system we live in is built on a lie, and that waking up to that fact makes you a rebel in a world you just can't believe in anymore. To really get this worldview, you gotta know the intellectual bricks it's built from. Neo-Gnosticism offers this whole toolkit for making sense of a world that just feels wrong. So first you have the demiurge. Think of an ignorant or even evil creator, a clumsy god who completely botched the job of creation. Then you have the archons. They're the hostile rulers, his enforcers, the agents of the system. All of this creates a hostile cosmos, basically a prison planet. But there's a little bit of hope, the divine spark inside each of us, a tiny piece of a true higher reality that knows deep down that this world is a fraud. But right here, we see a huge split in the road. Traditionally, metaphysical gnosis was an inward journey. It was all about transcending yourself and all the dualities of the world to connect with the divine. Political gnosis, though, it takes that map and turns it completely outward. The focus isn't on an inner journey, it's on an outer, societal battle against systemic lies. And the goal isn't divine union, it's becoming a dissenter inside a false system. And once you have this map, once you see the pattern, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere, from classic science fiction to the arguments people are having online right now. Let's talk about the sci-fi author Philip K. Dick. This guy was basically a modern Gnostic prophet. He used these themes all the time because he kind of believed it. He thought he was living in 1970s California and ancient Rome at the same time, hunted by authorities. His phrase, "the empire never ended," just perfectly captures that paranoid Gnostic feeling of being trapped in a secret, timeless, evil system that just keeps changing its face. And then came cyberspace. William Gibson's neuromancer gave us this incredible term, the consensual hallucination of the Matrix. That is a perfect Gnostic world, right? It's a flawed, artificial reality created by some lesser power, and it's policed by hostile AIs who act exactly like those ancient archons, keeping everyone plugged in and under control. The psychedelic movement also plugged right into this framework. You had people like Terence McKenna, who argued that certain substances could give you a direct gnosis, a massive jolt of revealed knowledge that just shatters all your social conditioning and shows you the hidden gears of reality, breaking you free from the system's control over your mind. And look, this isn't just some dusty old idea or a sci-fi trope. It is happening right now. Today, on social media platforms like Gab, this language is everywhere. People are explicitly talking about fighting a digital demiurge and the archons of big tech and censorship. For them, the battle for free speech is a literal spiritual war against the rulers of a fake, digitally enforced reality. So we come to this really critical fork in the road. You can use this Gnostic map to understand the world, sure, but how you use it leads to two totally different places. One is a political war against your enemies, and the other is a spiritual path to inner freedom. And this is where the path splits, big time. On one side, you have what you could call neo-Gnosticism, without Gnosis. This is a purely political framework. It's all about identifying external enemies, the elites, the globalists, the archons, and fighting them out there, in society. But on the other side, you have Gnosis, without neo-Gnosticism. That's the classic mystical path. The battle isn't with some secret group, the battle is inside you, against your own illusions, with the goal of transcending all that division. You can almost think of the journey itself as a kind of ladder of awareness. The source material describes the starting point as the termite-like collective. Basically, you're just accepting social conditioning without even thinking about it. The next step up is relative freedom. That's the political awakening, right? Breaking free from the programming. But the highest level is individually realized freedom, and that's true Gnosis, the transcendence of all illusion, both the ones society tells you and the ones you tell yourself. So why? Why has this ancient, kind of weird, complex idea made such a powerful comeback right now? Well, it's because it gives a really compelling story for a world that feels broken. In an era where trust is collapsing everywhere, the idea that there's a hidden war for reality itself, that really hits home for a lot of people. For people who feel alienated, who feel disenfranchised, the Gnostic framework is way more than a conspiracy theory. It's like a sacred story. It transforms their political fights into a spiritual war of cosmic importance. It basically says, you're not crazy for feeling like the world is wrong. You've just woken up inside the prison. And this leads to a pretty terrifying concept, the idea of a second reality. This is what a system built on a single ideology, an idiocracy, tries to create. It's a completely fake world projected on top of the real one. And to keep it going, it requires constant censorship and force. It deforms the humanity of everyone involved, and it treats anyone who dares to point out the lie not as a person with a different opinion, but as an object that needs to be eliminated. And you don't have to read ancient texts to hear this idea. Seriously, just look at modern forums. This quote from a Reddit user just perfectly captures the soul of the Gnostic complaint. The feeling isn't just that the world is flawed, but that it feels intentionally corrupt, as if some hostile intelligence is running the show on purpose. So it seems like we live in a time where the very nature of reality is up for grabs. An ancient spiritual map is being used as a modern political weapon. And the battle lines aren't being drawn between countries, but between competing versions of the truth. The final question then isn't just about picking a side. It's about deciding which lens you're going to use to look at the world and what reality that choice will ultimately show you.
Thanks for watching. Support Aeon Byte and get more Red Pill suppositories.